We are talking about today you can live beyond 120 years of life according to astrology, and that's how the astrology thinks like one should have 120 years of life. Why it is so and what way it goes, let me just explain it to you in this video. Okay, at the whatever phase right now you are in your life, and whatever your dashas, mahadashas, and your sub periods, whatever is going, suppose you are undergoing right now Jupiter under Rahu. Okay, Rahu is running your main and Jupiter is running under that, right? And this cycle is going to repeat after 120 years after. Whatever dasha mahadasha you are presently at present when you are listening this, the same will repeat after 120 years. That's how the astrology treats the life. Life according to astrology is 120 years, and beyond this, so it is saying that would mean like around 3 or 4 Saturn's 7.5 year cycles. Okay, and that would also mean that your karma and your next birth is going to be after 120 years. So that's why they always say in astrology, dying is really a bad idea. Okay, dying is not really a good idea, dying is really a bad idea. Okay, why it is so bad idea? Because this 120 years of cycle, and no matter how many births you take, no matter how many births you take, your kundli, your birth chart is not going to change, because that is the soul journey, that is the journey of the soul that you are undergoing. Birth after birth, your birth chart will remain absolutely same. Okay, you are going to repeat, you are going to have the similar kind of life, similar kind of repetition almost in every birth. Okay, now according to some theories and some cosmology here, there is no sequence of present, past and future in the time. Okay, that is the present, past and future is the construct that has been built only for earth, and that too according to the cycle of the sun, right? Otherwise there is a no sequence, that something has to happen first and then something will happen, and after that something will happen. So it's not a possibility at all. Okay, so what will happen, like suppose you are listening this in, say suppose you are listening this in 2022. Okay, or maybe beyond that. Now what happens if your next birth is in the 1818 or 1819? Okay, your birth is in the 1819, meaning is past. Rather than taking the next birth in the future, you are taking next birth in the past. That may also be possible. Okay, and according to these the concept of multiverse may be dependent on this, that your next birth is happening at the same time, but it is happening on in some other universe. Maybe you are not being given the next birth on this planet Earth, maybe you are being given your next birth on some other planet, or maybe in some other universe which may be parallel, which may not be parallel. Okay, but as far as astrology is concerned, that is 120 years of life that astrology counts in the consideration for changing, for repeating your next birth. Okay, now what is more important in the life is, now when you take a birth, okay, when you take a birth in any family, there are some kind of conditions which are active during that time, and those will be known as, or those are known as transit conditions. Meaning is this, you had been transformed from the previous birth into this birth during those conditions, and those conditions almost same will repeat, same will decide, okay, when will you die and when will you take the next birth. The same conditions, because that's what, because this whole this soul Soul journey is repeating itself, right? You are finding yourself at the mercy of this system. Okay, that's how this system works, and that is how the intrinsic surprise element is there, right? That's how life shocks us, right? And it is all repetition of one birth after another birth. That's why dying is really not a very good idea. And before 120 years, suppose somebody dies prematurely because of anything, okay, and what happens, like they are trying to escape some situation in this birth, and they are dying, and they are taking the next birth immediately. Soon after 1 second or 2 seconds, they are in the lap of a new mother, right? And they are crying and doing all that a small kid will do, or the newborn in some hospital, or some in some shabby conditions you cannot be really sure of. And suddenly you realize, after passing from this life into the another one, that okay, what this happened, okay, what is this, right? I was just on some bed in the hospital, and now suddenly I am in the lap of a lady, okay, and that too a small kid, okay, who cannot speak, who even does not know how to interact, because you are just few second old in the new birth, right? Maybe where you take the next birth, the conditions are not really that way good there also, right? And you may feel like situations are not really good, situations are not really better than the previous birth here, right? But anyways, so since you have passed from the previous life, and now you have moved into the newer life, and there is nobody can do anything, right? And not you are not in the condition of doing anything in the next birth until you are able to take care of your own, and for that you have to grow up, and that is how the necessary life will go on, right? So it's better to have this life as much as you can, as much as you can enjoy. Going from this life prematurely doesn't make a really very good sense anyways, okay? Because whatever, and one thing more before we go here, whatever dashas, antardashas you are going right now in this birth, and whatever happens to your life in this birth, the same will continue from the same point in the new birth, okay? So you are not escaping anything, you are continuing in the next birth, and maybe next birth is more harder than this one. Live your life and love your life and live fully. That's what the message is here. Okay, you can live beyond 120 years, and of course you should live. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.